Now I request Honorable Professor Dr. M.M. Salunke sir to give the inaugural speech for this international conference.
Very good morning to you all. Sarvana Mata Namaskar. Honorable President of this particular function, respected Professor S.H. Pawar. I will talk about him after some time. Principal of the college, who was the dean when I was the vice chancellor at Shivaji University, Professor Khilare. Deans of various faculties in this particular college, Dr. Kamble, Dr. Sitole, Dr. Chopde. In this particular conference, Principal Bachute is there, Dr. Deshpande, Prashant Deshpande is there, along with our Professor Kaude, head of the chemistry department, and all other friends on the stage, faculty members, and my dear student friends. At the outset, I would like to salute Padma Bhushan Karmavir Bhaurao Patil for his contribution in sustainable development. It is a theme of this particular conference because everybody talks about smart materials for sustainable development, energy, environment, but we don't talk what Anna has done in sustainable development. And really education is one of the components in the sustainable development. World cannot be sustainable unless you do work in education. And that's why I would like to salute the contribution of Karmavir Anna in the field of sustainable development. This is very important, and when I will start my presentation, in that presentation I will try to explain how Anna has contributed in this particular area when nobody was using the word sustainable development, and that time he could contribute in this particular area. Then I said I will say something about S.H. Pawar sir, because he is alumni of this particular college. But I would like to tell one thing. Shivaji University, do you know, the research in the science area was started by Dr. S.H. Pawar. He was the first student of Shivaji University, and he worked, that's okay. He worked with Dr. Narlikar. Do you know, very, very famous Dr. Narlikar, Ranglaz Narlikar, his son was his guide, and Dr. Appasaheb Pawar, the first vice chancellor, invited him directly as a professor in Shivaji University, Kolhapur, and under which Professor S.H. Pawar sir could do the PhD, and he was the first person to start research in science, and he is wholly Shivaji University product, and that's why I feel proud. He is just like my teacher. I was not in physics, but I was in chemistry, even though he is a teacher for me. And I'm really happy today he is here with me, and he is the right person. I'm not the right person to talk about the smart materials. And smart materials, he will give details. I think first he was working on superconducting materials, all sort of materials he has worked. He worked in the physics, and he has done lot of things. But now I would like to talk about in this particular, first before I forget I should say, this particular conference has been inaugurated. So otherwise I will go on talking several things and I will forget to say this particular line, but this conference has been inaugurated. I should start with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, because this quote I like. When you talk about sustainable development, one should talk about Mahatma Gandhi. Why? What he has said, The earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need. Whatever we required, the Mother Earth will provide everything to us. But not any man's greed, and we have a lot of greed. And due to the greed, whatever problems we are facing today, all due to the greed. See, you take simple example of petroleum products. And these petroleum products will not be available for the world in after next 50 years. So what will be the future about next generation? What about your kids? What about their kids? And what is the sustainability? See, you can talk about any smart material. But whether that smart material is environmentally benign, whenever any scientist is going to talk about sustainability, you should ask a question. In terms, what question will be? Whether these particular products you are talking about will be sustainable for the world. Because see, every time we do some research and everybody is very happy. I will give simple example of plastic. Everybody was very happy to have the plastic bags in hands and go to the market, and now everybody is blaming that plastic has created so many problems and we should stop use of the plastics, and now we should talk about biodegradable plastic. You are getting my point. Now you are talking about biodegradable plastic, but that time word has been damaged. Now I would like to tell how this conference is important. How this conference is important, and in this particular conference, right now the world is discussing about only one thing. Entire world, not only India, Pakistan, US, all the countries in the world, they are discussing about sustainable development. What is the future? What is the future of the next generation? And I would like to give you example. What is the G20? Our Honorable Prime Minister now has means all the countries, they come together and they are discussing only on one issue, that is the sustainability. But I feel very bad about that sustainability. They are coming together. But what is important is whether they are discussing what is the science and technology policy for this particular development, sustainable development. See, they are not going to change the world. They will take some decisions, but actually the world will be changed by the scientists. Actually the professor, he will tell us which are the smart materials and how they can change the properties and how they are useful. And that particular, in my presentation also, I am going to discuss this particular thing regarding the sustainability, how we are going to. So this particular, I would like to congratulate Professor Khilare and the organizers for organizing this particular conference when G20 is happening in our country, and we should give the proceedings of our conference to them, that following things should be done in this particular, because it is a very, very wide area. And in wide area, you can't concentrate on one field. And they will appreciate one of the committee, maybe on science, policy of the science and technology. You are getting my point. In the science and technology, they will consider whatever recommendations we have on this such type of materials. Generally, I like to give the example. See, we develop something, and after a few years, I will give simple example of DDT. You know, world was facing the problem of malaria, and in those days, they thought the DDT was the only solution, and now DDT has been banned. Now, there is always a balance. Whether DDT is toxic, it's okay, but that time DDT has saved millions of lives. So DDT has advantage, DDT has disadvantage. And you have to see the balance between advantage and balance between the disadvantage. So whenever you are going to consider a smart material, in that smart material there will be 100 of disadvantages, and you have to look whether that particular balance is maintained. In sustainability, simple things, I think it's how word is complicated, that I would like to give some examples. So you will understand the sustainability. Now, everybody is talking about we should reduce CO2 emission. Carbon dioxide emission should be reduced. But why India is not accepting this policy? As a student, I am asking a question. You are getting my point. See, everybody knows if there is a CO2 emission, there will be a global warming. If global warming is there, world will have several problems. Water level of the sea will be increased. Why then when there is a meeting, world leaders come, G20, they will come together, and when they ask India, they ask Pakistan that you should reduce the emission. We are not accepting. What is the reason? Once we accept this particular thing, what will happen? Already there are no jobs, and if the CO2 emission is reduced, what will happen? Again the jobs in the country will be reduced. There will not be jobs, and such type of situation, economical situation, we don't want. This sustainable development is a very, very wonderful thing. Means both the things, both the sides are there. On one side, we would like to reduce the emission, but another side, we can't reduce because we would like to have employment to our kids. So both the things are happening simultaneously. Why US and other countries, what is our stand on sustainability, I will tell. Our stand is, see, world has been damaged, world has been polluted by whom? Not by us. Not by us means not by poor countries. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, we have not polluted the world. Previously the world was polluted by Western countries, by US, all Western countries. They have polluted the world and they have created the money. They have the economic power, and with that economic power they have developed the technology. And with help of that technology, you are getting my point, with help of that technology now they can say we can reduce the emission because they have the technology, and with that technology they can reduce CO2 emission without affecting their jobs. But in our case, when we are in position to do this thing, when we will become rich. After becoming rich, we will have also technology. See, why sugar factories are interested to whatever waste is coming out of sugar factory, why they are throwing into the river? Because there is a pressure from the farmer to give more rates and to treat, it is possible to treat the whatever spent is coming out of this, it is possible to treat that particular thing, but why they are not treating? The reason is they have to spend some money. We don't have that kind of money. So unless we have the economic progress, it's not possible to have the sustainable. And for this purpose, I will give quote of, see, in 1972, our then Honorable Prime Minister Indira Gandhi has mentioned one quote. Poverty is one of the biggest polluter. कौन सगळं pollution करते? गरिबी pollution करते, and that is the fact. See, the poor person has no other alternative, and what he will do is do the pollution, otherwise how he will survive. And that's why we have to consider this particular subject in very different way. All smart materials will be, means, see, I will tell Professor Pawar, whatever we do in our laboratory has some disadvantages. What disadvantages we have? Because they are this, whatever materials I have synthesized or whatever scientists they will tell, generally they are not environmentally benign. They are environmentally not sustainable. So what you have to do? And what will be the future of smart materials? Even though I am not an expert in the smart materials, I would like to tell real terms, what will be the smart thing? Go to the nature. निसर्गाकडे गेलं पाहिजे and try to understand what is happening in our body. How many smart materials are produced? Millions of smart materials are produced in our body. But without producing any environmental waste, without creating any problems, whatever, see, millions of chemicals are synthesized and see their conditions. All the reactions are done in water. In our laboratory, you go and see, they use chloroform, all cancerous agents are used in the laboratories. pH is 7, but in our laboratories, the reactions are carried out in under acidic or under basic medium, and they are not suitable for environment. So aqueous, basic, and all reactions go to the chemistry lab and you will see burners are always, whatever materials they are trying to do, they may try to heat the material at higher level, and such type of materials we are using. And we call them as a smart material. They are not smart. The materials, which materials are smart? Whatever is present in our body, once you understand the mechanism of our own cell, then it's possible to solve the problems. Otherwise, whatever material we should try. It's not possible, it is not easy. Difficult to understand the God. That difficulty is to understand the mechanism in our cells. So, the final thing, whatever smart materials we are talking about, is to go to the nature, try to understand, and that kind of science, the smart materials will solve the problems. And problems, I'm another happy, I would like to tell the Khilare sir and all these things, they are talking about chemistry, physics, even they are talking about biology. Even though they have not mentioned, the problems are related with biology, and that's why it is a really true sense this particular conference is interdisciplinary, and it's very important to understand the nature, and that's why I congratulate the entire team, principal, and in Pandharpur all these things are discussed, and Lord Vithala will give the strength to solve all these problems with these few words. I once again say that this conference has been inaugurated. Thank you all, namaskar.